So that happened over the weekend, and I have a slight concussion, but I'm dealing with it. Positivity is hard. For a really, really long time, nothing in my life stressed me out more than trying to maintain a positive outlook. I figured if I worked on improving something small about myself every day, that I would focus more on those positivities and less on my flaws. So I would cut my hair, dye my hair, lay out in the sun, do my nails, get a tan, try a new makeup technique. And these small minor changes usually made me feel better about myself temporarily, and then the feelings would wear off. What I never took into consideration is that maybe we as human beings aren't meant to feel 110% positive all the time. I also didn't realize that developing an unhealthy obsession with trying to remain positive all the time does not help with negative thoughts. In fact, it makes them worse. See, I would catch myself in my negative thoughts, and then I would feel bad that my happiness techniques weren't working. And then the negative thoughts would just escalate to feeling like I'll never be happy. And then I just muster every bit of my will to shut out these negative thoughts. And in doing so, I end up overthinking them, and then it's just exponentially worse. It's like instead of just feeling these things and letting them sink in and then eventually pass, I do it to myself unknowingly. It's so much more stress than just simply moving on and letting it go. I guess I just never considered that wanting to be positive isn't the same thing as being positive. And for most of my life, I've dealt with this. I didn't like the way people were responding to me, so I would try to change them. I didn't like the way things were going in the world around me, so I would try to control it. And I didn't like what I was feeling inside, so I would try to escape it. Even when I tried to be positive, there was always a hidden secret agenda going on in my brain. That maybe if I was just positive enough about my life and who I am and everything going on around me, that eventually it would just be that way. 'Cause that's how life works. And of course, like everyone else on this planet, I've searched for different roads and avenues in which to take that could possibly lead to true happiness. I've told myself before that everything is in my mind, and that when I think people are being rude and mean to me, really it's just my brain interpreting it wrong. But then when I start thinking about that, I'm like, what's wrong with my mind? Why am I doing this? Anxiety. I just don't understand why I always assume that people are thinking the worst about me, or I'm always looking at the bad parts of a possible situation that sometimes hasn't even happened yet, and I have to catch myself doing these things and change it. And why do I have to do that? That was very Christopher Walken of me. Did you guys hear that? Why? I remember specifically, there was this one girl in high school, and I can't remember her name, but she was always so happy. And I would see her just walking down the halls and saying hi to everyone and just always smiling and being cheerful. And I remember in high school thinking, why can't I be like that? Why can't I walk around and say hi to everybody and just be so happy? Why does she get to do that and I can't? It's who has the energy and time to be that positive? Last year I started a memory jar. I made a video about it if you guys saw it, and I wrote down all the things that were happening in my life that I wanted to remember, that were important to me and that I would want to reflect back on. And oddly enough, I started finding that overwhelming to me and stressing out about a memory jar because I was worried that I was going to forget moments that I really wanted to remember. And what if I didn't write down this one thing that happened, then I'll never remember it again, and it's just... why? It felt like I would feel guilty if I missed a big important event or didn't write something down, or I wasn't showing enough gratitude for the life that I have. I guess overall positive thinking didn't really give me any results because it's still my brain doing the thinking. I was still fighting internally and judging everything and everyone, including myself, and wondering when things were gonna get better. Long story short, they do get better, and they don't. I'd really like to tell you guys that I no longer overanalyze things or get lost in my thoughts or am hard on myself, but that would be lying to you. Even with growing up and gaining more and more life experiences that are changing me as an individual every single day, I still feel like this from time to time. There are days when I literally just fight with myself and the world around me, and all I want to do is crawl in bed and cry and eat ice cream and just forget about bills and life and money and just have a pity party. There are days that I judge myself so much that you would be surprised that any of the advice that I've ever given to you guys in YouTube videos is actually coming out of my mouth. And I've noticed that these feelings usually come on when I've stopped doing things that I need to do for myself. It's usually when work gets so overwhelming and people are so demanding and life just seems like it's collapsing inward on me and I don't know how to act or what to say. I forget that I am priority number one and I need to take care of myself before I take care of these other things. I'm still imperfect and I still struggle with making bad decisions from time to time and I still can't let some things go, but I'm human. Growing up is rarely a straight line, you guys. It's more like Highway 1 in California. You want to look at the really super pretty gorgeous ocean because it's right there and it's so pretty, but you look at the ocean with a sense of anxiety because you're on such a narrow road, a narrow winding road, that you have to pay attention to where you're going or you might crash. I'm learning that being positive means releasing the need to judge. To stop assessing what's right and good enough because, to be honest, no one really knows what they're doing. I've decided not to dwell on if I've done things right or good enough or the correct way or ways that I could have done it better because it's done. It's in the past. I can't change it at this point. I think the biggest barrier between me and my personal happiness is just my innate ability to just overanalyze why I didn't do something or why I don't do something, or just, I guess, overanalyzation in general. It's so hard when you have anxiety over people just judging you and just thinking about things negatively before they've even happened, and it's really not like I can help that I'm doing it. It's just, I do it. And I recognize that I do it. Today, I feel pretty fantastic, aside from injuries that I have. But in this moment, right now, I'm not trying to be positive. I'm just speaking my mind and being myself. And really, I think that's all you can ask for, is just feeling content and not overreaching, I guess. I don't know really what this video is for, but if it helps you or you identify with it, then I guess that was the purpose. I'll see you guys in a few days with another video. Peace out, trucks.